It's October, which means a brand new WWE game from 2K, and honestly, this isn't a review. I can't review this game because it's just the same game as last year, so I'd pretty much be repeating myself, but also it's worse in ways that the series looked like it was starting to improve upon. Welcome to the rant, folks. First things first, what the hell happened to the character models? At worst, most of them look like cheap wax models of the wrestlers they're supposed to represent, and at best, some of them look like slightly less cheap wax models. Now, in motion, some of these character models actually look fine. With the right lighting and some animation behind it, some of the wrestlers look okay. But man, last year's characters looked pretty decent, so what the fuck happened? It certainly doesn't help that everyone's first exposure to these character models is in these static, lifeless character select poses, which you could very easily fix. I, as a player, could fix this minor thing, but if 2K don't care enough to fix it, then why the fuck should we, as players, care about this game at all? On the gameplay front, everything is slower and less responsive than usual somehow. Even without talking about the constant niggling bugs like having refs lose the use of their legs mid-match, the game just isn't very fun. From what I recall, WWE 2K19 was actually pretty responsive compared to previous entries, but this year every match feels like an absolute slog, like you're performing underwater, and this is when the game isn't freaking out and the ring ropes aren't physically assaulting the wrestlers. None of this is helped by the random and mostly inconsequential change to the control scheme either. You're still able to perform all the moves that you used to be able to use, but the buttons have been switched around for no apparent reason. Nothing feels better about this control scheme, it's just really confusing and pointless, especially early on. The best thing I could say about WWE 2K20 is that it still offers an okay suite of game modes, but when the game isn't particularly fun to play, that doesn't really do much for it, you know? You've got your mainstays like Career and Showcase Mode, and having Showcase Mode focus on the four horsewomen of WWE is appreciated, though combining the sluggish gameplay with uncooperative AI to recreate historic WWE moments ends up being more frustrating than anything. Even the part of this mode that I usually adore, the live-action promo packages, aren't quite up to snuff, with live-action in-ring footage suffering from severe video artifacting. The career mode fares a little better, if only because its story is absolutely bonkers and incredibly dumb, and in terms of sheer entertainment, I can at least appreciate that. You play as two best friends, a man and a woman, who dream of joining WWE and create a to-do list of iconic WWE moments, and like I said, it's very dumb, but it's good for a laugh. My biggest issue is that you have to, actually play the game, and no matter how much you appreciate dumb bullshit like I do, I can't say it's worthwhile. The game's other noteworthy mode, Universe Mode, still suffers from bugs related to rivalries and matches not scheduling properly, shit that it was suffering from last year, so that hasn't improved at all beyond a couple of surface level features like additional rivalry slots, which still makes it not enough per show. Even the Creation Suite has suffered a hit this year by not having a functional image uploader at time of launch. This game is an absolute mess. Finally, adding insult to injury, the game has an entire game mode locked off and shows off content from that game mode in its main menu sizzle reel. Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and the rest of the Halloween-themed arenas and wrestlers are all DLC, but feature prominently in the main menu, so what the actual fuck? This is poor form all round, and it feels like a slap in the face. With all that said, WWE 2K20 is awful! Fucking awful! It provides mild enjoyment by being so incredibly bad, but that soon wears off when you realize you spent good money on something that, by rights, should be better than last year's entry. Visual Concepts needs to scrap everything they have on this game's code and start building from the ground up. Frankly, this is embarrassing.